Folks, here's a video I never wanted to make.
On late Monday, Phil Hellmuth shocked the poker world with a major update. Phil revealed on X that he won't be participating in this year's WSOP Main Event. He mentioned the tournament's demanding length and its impact on older players as reason for his decision. At 60, Hellmuth admits he no longer feels physically capable of enduring the grueling pace of the main event.
So the World Series Poker Main Event, I played it every year since 1988. I will not be playing it this year. It's just too tough. It's just too tough. People at home are like, "Oh, Phil, you can play 7 days in a row." Yeah, try it. Try getting up and playing at noon until midnight. 7 days in a row. And then today we have to play till 2 or 3 in the morning, which also happens at the WSOP Main Event. It's just exhausting, and I can't win, and I think that it really hurts the older players in a much bigger proportion than the younger players.
According to him, several top pros have confided that exhaustion was the sole reason they busted deep in the tournament.
And I'll say this, I had 4 great players come and tell me that they blew the main event because they got too tired with 50 left, with 30 left, with 100 left. It's turned into an endurance test. I don't think that the World Series of Poker Main Event is measuring skill. It's still my favorite event in the world. Don't misunderstand me. I don't want to miss it. But I know that I can't do that. I'm 60 years old. I don't think I could have done it at age 50. So I think the World Series of Poker is set up as an endurance test, and we're losing a lot. And if you go out there and you poll the players on whether or not they should have days off in the main event, 80% are going to say yes. And the 20%, because I did a little polling myself, the 20% that don't, they're the guys who are 20 years old, and 25, 26, 27. They're like, yeah, people get tired. They blow all their chips. Of course you want it to be 10 days straight. But I don't think that's what the World Series of Poker should be about. People getting tired and blowing their chips. So it's going to really hurt me to not play in the world's best poker tournament, the World Series of Poker Main Event. But in 2025, I'm out. I hope that in 2026 there's some changes made so that we can restore more skill and less endurance. I really hope they make those changes because I don't know if I can do an entrance this year either. So I guess I'm just out.
Some players responded in agreement, such as online poker ambassador Jen Shahade, who noted that the schedule can be tough on pregnant women and those with disabilities. Erik Seidel agreed with Phil, stating it shouldn't be an endurance contest. He added that it would be great to consider shortening the levels and days or having break days. Barry Carter said, "I don't like high-profile names trying to change the rules to suit them, but poker players are not getting any younger, and I agree with Phil, a break in the main event would be popular." But others felt that adding days off would extend the tournament even more, making it even more difficult for players traveling into town to play. Scott Seaver said, "The WSOP lasts for 45 days, with each day consisting of 12-hour sessions. The main event follows the same day schedule as the other events, neither longer nor shorter. Naturally, a tournament meant to showcase the best players will inherently favor younger competitors. As we age, our abilities decline. That's just a reality of life that everyone has to come to terms with." Daniel Negreanu agreed with Scott's take and added that the WSOP Main Event has always featured a slow structure with 2-hour levels since its inception in 1970. He mentioned that it was a bucket list event for many players, with the long grind being part of its appeal. He explained that there were only 2 ways to address Phil's concern, either by turning it into a 3-week tournament or by speeding up the structure. However, he expressed his opinion that neither of those options were good ideas. Many players questioned whether Hellmuth could truly resist the main event, with Kevin Martin comparing it to Michael Jordan skipping the NBA Finals. Joey Ingram, for one, isn't buying it, saying he will 100% be playing the main event. No chance you skip the main. Your FOMO will kick in by day 2 when you can still reg, and you can play 3 levels on day 2, and then if you survive 1.5 more days, you are in the money and adrenaline kicks in, plus you can nap on dinners and get massages. Some players believe that a $10,000 buy-in is no longer sufficient for what is considered the most prestigious tournament of the year. Chance Cornuth noted that it was remarkable to think that in 1972, the WSOP Main Event had a $10,000 buy-in, which would be approximately $75,000 today. He pointed out that this amount was roughly 5 times the annual salary of someone in the top 10% income bracket at the time, which helped explain why the tournament fields were so small. When this topic came up a few years ago, both Daniel Negreanu and Phil Hellmuth opposed the idea of changing the buy-in. Hellmuth even stated that he would love to see 20,000 players participate. Some might call Phil Hellmuth soft for this, but I'm with him on this one. The main event is an absolute marathon. It literally goes on forever. The first day one kicks on July 2nd and the final table doesn't wrap up until July 16th. 2 weeks for a single poker tournament is insane. The reason for this is the absurdly long 2-hour levels in the WSOP main event. No other tournament in the world drags out like this. And let's be real, Phil is 60 now. Grinding 12-hour days for a week straight at that age is brutal. Faraz Jaka agreed with Phil and called for a few changes, which included make shorter days, add a day if needed. Yes, it increases the cost, but you're losing players long-term to burnout and injury. Faster structures, not speeding up already fast ones, but some long, drawn-out events could be adjusted. More flexibility. Let the floor make a judgment call to end play earlier or push back day 2 starts when turnarounds get unreasonable. Put yourself in players' shoes. They want a full night's sleep, time to eat, exercise, and handle life outside of poker for an hour or 2. The live poker player pool is aging, as seen in the explosion of senior events. Even younger players don't realize how much these extreme schedules take a toll until they start having those issues in their 40s or even late 30s. It's time for some adjustment to give players a healthy playing environment. The structural problem with live poker events isn't a new one for poker players. The last big discussion started on January 6, 2025 by Jason Kuhn on X when he suggested to create a new poker series for aging players, including himself. Poker is meant to offer the freedom that traditional jobs lack, but in reality, live tournaments have become exhausting and time-consuming, often less appealing than other work options. While many young pros adapt to the grind, seasoned veterans, newcomers, and recreational players are finding these structures less attractive. If the industry fails to adjust, live poker could face a significant decline soon. At the end of the day, Hellmuth seems serious about skipping the main event. But when July 2nd rolls around, and if he shows up in his signature black tracksuit and gold trim hat, ready to take his seat in poker's biggest tournament, would anyone actually be shocked? Let us know in the comments on what you think.